Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to our second edition of News Tonight with me, Michael Jordan Lukomwa and Elizabeth Nakakoni. We'll start with a look at the top stories. Here we go.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
everywhere you go. MTN.
President Museveni rejects UNATU proposal to remunerate non-science teachers. Hundreds vaccinated in the ongoing mass vaccination exercise against COVID-19. UN Biodiversity Conference kicks off in China's Kunming city. While Uganda to host All Africa Senior Badminton Tournament. UBC News Tonight, welcome aboard. President Yoweri Museveni has rejected the proposal by the UNATU to consider concurrently the remuneration of teachers in the non-science fields. Museveni argues that science is more crucial in the tough time, but other fields can always be considered at a later stage. As Ivan Kahwa reports, the president called upon teachers not to obstruct government plans of financing science teachers.
Uganda National Teachers Union wants government to remunerate teachers specializing in other fields other than sciences in order not to jeopardize the teaching process. This follows cabinet endorsing science teachers for a 4 million salary.
All those with the same qualifications should ideally earn within the same salary scale. This is clearly stipulated in the National Teachers Policy.
Why don't we start with some that are most needed?
UNATU argues that teachers need to be supported to help students recover from learning losses registered during the first year and 7-month ban on education institutions due to COVID-19.
E, to stand for education financing. C, to stand for continuous professional development. O, to stand for the operationalization of the National Teachers Policy.
Saying that if the administrators get less pay than the scientists, that it will spoil administration. I am the president of Uganda. If you want to check my power, you try it.
The president was not comfortable with some of the demands of UNATU, but advised the NRM Secretariat to share critical information with the teachers.
So I'm surprised. This must be the mistake of the Secretariat and the patriotism Secretariat, the one in the President's office, who don't engage you and really, all these teachers should know this.
Museveni declared his intention to sue officials who involve in corruption during the recruitment phase of teachers.
That there is a price attached to each job category. Those that can afford to pay successfully sail through the process.
Educated people get evidence and trick them and get evidence and we'll go for them. Those don't have to waste our time.
Furthermore, there has been an outcry that retired teachers grapple with delays in accessing their gratuity. UNATU wants the process automated such that retirement officers automatically have access to pensioners' payroll on deletion from the active payroll.
A number of them die before accessing their retirement benefits because of the stressful process.
The president has committed to follow up the SACCO money supposed to be availed to teachers by the Microfinance Support Center. This year's celebration to mark the World Teachers' Day was marked on the theme, Teachers at Heart of Education Recovery. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News at Kololo.
Have been commended. Teachers have been commended for perseverance during the COVID-19 pandemic as schools remain closed to curb the increase of the cases. Uganda was celebrating the World Teachers' Day at Kololo Independence Grounds in Kampala, as we see in this report.
Government has reassured teachers and parents about reopening of schools for normal studies. Addressing teachers on the World Teachers' Day celebrations, the First Lady, also Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, commended government and President Yoweri Museveni for the wise counsel during the COVID-19 pandemic and the decision to close schools to save lives of students, teachers and parents.
We are very grateful for the firm measure that the government took to ensure that the children remain safe, and we do thank God that we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel now as we prepare for the opening.
She also commended teachers for perseverance during the pandemic, saying that the challenges should make them stronger, looking as there's light at the end of the tunnel.
And congratulate all the teachers of Uganda for standing strong during this very difficult season. As a ministry, we do understand the challenges that the teachers, our frontline soldiers, are grappling with. Believe me, we pray and we believe that these challenges are not insurmountable, because we must remember, and when we feel these challenges, we must also put them in their right perspective, because we must remember our colleagues, the medical component, that were right there when COVID-19 was at its highest. They did not run out of the hospitals. They were there. Some of them actually died.
With information that 60% of the teachers already vaccinated, government will soon reopen the education sector.
We need to learn to use motivating methods of work instead of forever complaining or finding ways to discourage and put each other down. I want to say to you all, remember, please remember, especially in times like these, which are difficult for all of us, remember that we are all Ugandans and we have to pull through these difficult times.
The teachers request government to open up schools for students to recover for the time spent at home. In a dialogue whether the country is ready to open up fully, stakeholders believe that the children have lost time.
What are we doing with the scientific information that has come out there? You know, today we know that in our country, Uganda, we have preventative medicines. The doctors told us we have medicines that can treat people who have got clinically, who have got COVID, you know, and we have people who have got the disease and recovered from it.
President Yoweri Museveni remarked that stakeholders should not compare losing time with death to COVID-19.
The main problem of opening schools is that many of the schools are day schools. The children study and go back home. So you have vaccinated the teachers and the workers in the school, but the parents at home and grandparents are not vaccinated. The children come and infect one another. The children may not be affected because somehow the disease doesn't affect the children so much, but they go back and kill all their grandparents and their parents.
The World Teachers' Day is commemorated every 5th of October. Uganda postponed the celebrations to allow the chief guest, President Yoweri Museveni, to be part of the celebrations. Ngabo Emon, reporting for UBC TV.
First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has met a team from Stanbic Bank and discussed the possibility of the bank extending social corporate responsibility to the education sector. The Stanbic Bank Chief Executive Anne Juko and the Executive Director Emma Mujisha led the delegation. Government Chief Whip Thomas Tayebwa and senior technical officers from the Ministry of Education and Sports, led by the Permanent Secretary Ketty Lamaro, also attended the meeting.
Mrs. Museveni said that after the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development allowing the Education Ministry to raise funds from well-wishers to facilitate unfunded issues in the sector, she has started soliciting support from whoever is willing to help. The First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has met a team from Stanbic Bank to discuss the possibility of the bank extending its social responsibility to the education sector. She noted that there are many issues that need to be addressed before the education sector, which has been closed for almost 2 years, is reopened. She cited the challenge facing many schools in different parts of the country which have been affected by climate change effects like floods and strong winds destroying their infrastructure. On the question of encouraging those teachers that have found alternative jobs during the long school closure period to return to teaching and continue looking at teaching as a viable profession.
So that's how I come to you, knowing that I now have the permission of the Minister of Finance, but they still have to write to us, and the Attorney General has to be involved with the money we raise, and that's okay with me. But honestly, I want to go out and talk to willing people, beginning with bankers, and I've started with Stanbic.
Stanbic Bank's Chief Executive Officer, Anne Juko, acknowledged the challenges facing the education sector and the implications on the nation. She reiterated the bank's commitment through partnerships to support the recovery of the education sector and get it back to normal operation, and highlighted their proposed responses to ensure this. Stanbic has offered a 100% waiver on unapplied accrued interest for the school borrowing portfolio in distress caused by COVID-19, and in addition, zero rate on all interest effective 1st October 2021 to 31st December 2021. In support of e-learning, Anne Juko reported that Stanbic Bank is in the process of developing a laptop financing solution to facilitate digital learning and is already in discussion with Makerere University as a pilot.
We calculated that if they paid 30,000 per month for the duration of their course of 3 years, they would be able to work through the period to get the equipment they need today to study, and they will not feel the pain as much as possible.
I'm going to work with the Prime Minister. I tell her, we see which central body.
The government chief whip, Honorable Thomas Tayebwa, commended the Education Minister for being innovative and soliciting for support from well-wishers to address the challenges in the COVID-19 era. He pledged Parliament support to this initiative. The Stanbic Bank team also updated the Education Ministry team on programs their bank supports and has invested over 6 billion shillings in the last 6 years to develop and upskill Ugandans outside the classroom. It has so far made an impact on over 300,000 students, 1,000 teachers, and has also inspired over 2,000 youth-led business ideas. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
The outgoing African peer review mechanism focal point person David Bahati, who is also State Minister for Trade and Industries, has called for embracement of success instead of fighting it. At the handover ceremony held in Kampala, the minister pledged support to the National Planning Authority Management as well as the African peer review mechanism. The incoming focal point person, who is the State Minister for Finance and Economic Planning, Amos Lugorobi, called for support towards the development of the country to achieve middle income status.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful that
the President appointed you as Minister of State for Planning and now the focal point of a PRM. And I have no doubt that he's actually going to do a good job, post-bread, even a better job than I've done. It's something that we need to embrace. Success, if somebody makes a contribution, I think it's something that this culture of embracing success should be embraced. Sometimes we want to fight success. Somebody makes a contribution and you want to water it down by doing something. So to me, I see this one as a very important step in our country.
With such a background, Honorable Bahati set the bar higher for me, and I don't know if I can really fit in these shoes. It's going to be very difficult for me, but I'll try to do my best. I pledge that I will deliver to the tune of his legacy and beyond. We want to deliver industries in Uganda, and I've already committed myself to work with him very closely to deliver this industrialization.
This award is presented to Honorable David Bahati for
Mbale High Court has dismissed 3 election petitions, including 2 for National Unity Platform candidates. Losers have vowed to appeal against the ruling.
The petitions include one filed by Ivan Masaba of NUP, challenging the victory of NRM's Safe Wandebe, the incumbent MP for Northern City Division, Mbale City, Wameli Anthony of NUP, petitioned against Namisindwa's MP, Apollo Matsika of NRM, and Issa Bantalibu, who challenged the election of Derek Orome, the MP Gogonyo County in Palisa District. The Mbale High Court, presided over the acting registrar, Mawanda Iremia, has dismissed all the 3 election petitions with costs. Reported areas include multiple voting, ballot stuffing, and pre-ticking of the ballot papers. The court, however, ruled that petitioners failed to present enough evidence in the cases. Anthony Wameli, who did not surface at the court, challenged Apollo Matsika's election as Namisindwa's district MP on grounds of lacking proper academic documents. His petition has been dismissed with cost, but his lawyer, Tuliamsima Joffre, affirmed that he will appeal in the matter.
We had certified copies on court record and everything was clear, but court has not even mentioned anything concerning that. Tomorrow we are filing our notice of appeal, notifying this court at the same time notifying the court of appeal.
Similarly, Issa Bantaribu's election petition challenging the victory of Gogonyo County MP Derek Orone has been dismissed with cost for lacking substantial evidence.
My opponent, this is now the 4th time I'm winning him. He first took me, the NRM, I won him. He went to court, I won him. When he came to the election, I won him. He went for the recount, I won him. Now even the High Court, I've won him. Even when he goes to Court of Appeal, I'll win him. Even when we go to God, he will go to hell, I'll go to heaven.
UBC News Tonight. The Orthodox Church Pope and Patriarch of Alexandria, Theodore II, has hailed the late Archbishop of the Orthodox Church in Uganda, the late Metropolitan John Lwanga, for his devotion towards the foundation of the Orthodox Church. This was during a prayer service in memory of the late Lwanga at St. Nicholas Cathedral in Namungona. We apologize for that. We'll have that story later on. But moving on, the National Unity Platform Party has supported the People's Front for Transformation, the new formation of the opposition headed by retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, also former president for the Forum for Democratic Change. The NUP Secretary General Wongoya David Lewis told a press conference at Kamwocha that they have a separate approach though.
The leadership of opposition party National Unity Platform has condemned the detention of Sewanyana and Segirinya, which they say is unlawful. The party's Deputy President, Northern Region, Dr. Lina Zedriga, said NUP continues to stand solidarity with the families and condemns alleged abuse of human rights.
The continued abuse of human rights, lockdown of civil and civic space. We are not supposed to speak, and yet the Constitution grants us the right to information and the right to speak, and showcase yet again to the world how inhuman, degrading, cruel the institutions of government that are charged with protecting human rights and defending human rights are treating you, honorably elected members of parliament.
Some of the members have been recently released from Chitaria prison. They call upon human rights defenders to condemn the act of remanding opposition politicians without trial.
Isolated in one room, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see any shine, any sun, any rain. Just in one room for 5 months. Responsibility of every Ugandan to come out and demand the release of all the political prisoners. We have many people there.
Meanwhile, National Unity Platform has distanced itself from social media bickering with members of the People's Front for Transition, emphasizing that the opposition is united because they are fighting for the same cause.
This is not about FDC, it's not about NUP, it is not about ANT or any other political formation. It is about you as a Ugandan. What are you doing? Don't wait for NUP, don't wait for anyone. Each one of us has a responsibility to redeem this country. So, you all remember that there's a time when we had the People Power Movement, our comrades had the People's Government, and we were fighting, but in the same direction. So it is okay for all of us. We are political actors, but above all, we are all Ugandans. There's no clash whatsoever. These are comrades we talk to. Sometimes we may disagree in approach, but all of us, as long as all of us are pushing in the same direction, that is what matters.
In another development, National Unity Platform has unveiled a deputy spokesperson, Waiswa Alex Mufumbiro.
Of our country, we cannot afford to sit back. We cannot afford as a generation to keep quiet and therefore expect the loudest noise.
We shall wear the victor's crown when the struggle is over. We shall wear the victor's crown.
I'm Nafka Farida and Helen Barbara in Kamocha.
Experts have weighed in on the recently formed opposition People's Front for Transition, describing it as a journey to nowhere. Former leader of opposition in Parliament, Professor Ogenga Latigo, described the same as desperation. The move described the move by some opposition politicians seeking for change as desperation.
First, they formed what they described as a people's government led by Dr. Kizza Besigye.
Our target must be to have a transition.
And then attempted to drag President Yoweri Museveni to the International Criminal Court.
A petition which is brought in public interest.
When none of these yielded results, opposition politicians have formed Transitional Government of National Unity.
Starting today, they must understand their time is out. The time is out.
Seen holding the said Transitional Government schedule and Memorandum of Understanding is former leader of opposition in Parliament, Professor Ogenga Latigo. He received the documents as part of an invitation to join the front, a request he turned down.
But their main purpose was to ask me to be a participant and to provide leadership for northern Uganda. I realized that I would not offer my services for what they plan to do.
Ogenga Latigo, who is the immediate former member of parliament for Agago North, describes this as a sign of desperation.
It's like leaving Mulago and going to a witch doctor, because the guys in Cancer Institute have told you that the patient is so sick, we cannot help you. But you still believe somewhere, somehow, you can get some help.
Meanwhile, National Unity Platform the leading opposition political party in parliament, has declined to join the front.
If we are all pushing towards the same direction, I don't think there's need for us all to be under one umbrella.
Professor Latigo agrees with their position.
Nope, it's a very new political formation in Uganda. It has to find its own feet. And to suggest that in its struggle to be the official opposition in parliament and a party that the youth look to and then get again mixed up in this, I think that would be totally unreasonable.
He is, however, quick to note that all this stems from what he describes as Uganda's incomplete political history. He cites the non-peaceful transfer of power from one president to another as a cause of desperation.
Change of leadership is a very natural thing. I mean, you can be the toughest father in your home. Time will come that your sons have to bury you. And so if you don't prepare them for your decent burial, you will even have a very chaotic burial. It happens even in families. Now, what about in a more complicated situation like our country?
But transferring political power from what to what, and from whom to who? Dr. Chris Baryomunsi is the Minister for ICT and National Guidance.
The good thing is that every 5 years we hold elections and Ugandans make a decision. If they are happy with the leader, they will vote him back. So you can as well say every 5 years we always have a transition.
To Baryomunsi, it is not just illegal, but also unbecoming for anyone to think of changing government using unconstitutional means.
The Ugandans have been voting for President Yoweri Museveni because they still see value in him. They appreciate what he has done for the country, and that's why Ugandans vote him.
So, as former leader of opposition in parliament, Professor Ogenga Latigo has an appeal to President Museveni. Minister Baryomunsi has a word for opposition.
The change process is in your hands. You can make it smooth, rejuvenating, and all-embracing. Or you can make it very difficult. But no matter how difficult and no matter how long it will take, change will happen.
So it is Ugandans, as provided for in the Constitution, that every 5 years we subject ourselves to Ugandans. If he wants to be president, the route he should take is subject himself to the will of Ugandans.
Dr. Kiza Besigye, who was a presidential candidate in 2016, was not on the ballot in 2021 after he lost opposition support to Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Henry Okurut, UBC.
The Democratic Party has disowned the DP bloc members who recently joined the Red Card Front movement led by FDC's Colonel Kiza Besigye, saying they are not party members but rather masqueraders. DP spokesperson Okolero Piolo, a man who says that those people are no longer party members since they hold NUP tickets.
Besigye launched a pressure group for transition dubbed Red Card Front. This group brought all together different opposition parties, DP exclusive. Democratic Party is dissatisfied with the foundation and structures of the movement, a reason why they could not join the pressure group.
We needed to first of all understand the objectives of the front, which opportunity in terms of time was not given to us. Therefore, we are a party that actually understand for ourselves. You cannot extend an invitation as if you are extending it to an informal entity. Dr. Kiza Besigye wrote to a text message and requested to meet the President General.
Those alleging to have represented DP during the launch of this movement don't actually belong to their party.
Members who were constituting the DP bloc, some of which surfaced in that launch moved out of the bloc and they were dissolved in National Unity Platform. We do not know what happens there. I do take this opportunity to completely and outrightly distance and disown these members as being associated in any manner to the Democratic Party, and therefore they are not qualified to even be called by a name that has got Democratic Party. These are not our members. They are political merchants. They are masqueraders. A bunch of political opportunists.
Meanwhile, Okolero says they are open to peaceful talks with those members who left the party if they want to be part of DP.
We are open to conversations with our colleagues. There is absolutely no reason why we should not talk.
DP bloc never exists, but rather are NUP ticket holders, according to DP spokesperson Okolero Opiolo Amanu. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
With the political theatricals, we'll take a very short break. Thank you so much for watching UBC News Tonight.
Today in history.
On 12th October 1962, the Duke of Kent, Prince Edward, and his wife Catherine Wolseley, the Duchess, flew from Kampala to Gulu in northern Uganda. The British royals had come on October 8th to attend Uganda's Independence Day on 9th October 1962. They were received by Uganda's Prime Minister Milton Obote at Peche Stadium in Gulu.
My home, I smile when I think of you, Uganda. My home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda. My home, oh my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama.
At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Vaccinated today so we can get closer to the normal way of life. Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94 hash to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy a 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94 hash to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175 hash and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The third edition of the Bombay Business Summit is here, starting at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Friday from the 15th of October to the 12th of November. Join us via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube as we discuss topics like surviving and thriving through the pandemic, investing in real estate, trade and investment opportunities in Uganda, alternative dispute resolution, business formalization, and inclusive resource mobilization for Uganda's economic independence. Don't miss out.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
UBC News Tonight. Top private sector companies have joined government to promote mass COVID-19 vaccination. On the 16th of this month, Kololo Independence Grounds will be the first venue of mass vaccination drive, which will then be rolled out to cover other regions of the country.
Health, in collaboration with Coca-Cola Uganda, Uganda Breweries, Kampala Capital City Authority and NICE Uganda will host a mass COVID-19 vaccination event at Kololo Independence Grounds this Saturday.
Now, if you don't have 5 million, which can help you live a certain 24 hours or a day in hospitals as used to claim in ICU, please go and vaccinate.
Following an overwhelming turn-up for vaccination recently, the business community have extended mobile vaccination sites to restaurants, bars, markets and public centers within Kampala metropolitan area.
You all know our customer is king to us. Without you, we do not survive.
The drive is also focused on public sensitization. Over 2.3 million vaccine doses have been administered so far. Government has a target of 4.8 million people vaccinated to facilitate the safe and full reopening of the economy.
So how about we aim to beating that target and meeting that target? Yeah? And I'm sure we can do it. So good people, the fight to 4.8 million vaccinated Ugandans is on. The fight is on.
Dennis Igor for UBC News.
Kampala lawyer Hassan Male Mabirizi Chiwanuka has petitioned the East African Court of Justice challenging the presiding magistrate Alelu Augustine's order of allowing the DPP's office to take over the case he filed against Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu in his absentia. Mabirizi is accusing Kyagulanyi of obtaining registration by false pretense at Makerere University at only 20 years of age.
Mabirizi is accusing Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu of obtaining registration by false pretense at Makerere University and was admitted on mature entry for diploma in music, dance and drama at 20 years. However, in the due course of overtaking this matter, the respondent, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, did not appear in court. Following the dismissal of his prayers by the trial magistrate, Alelu Augustine, lawyer Male Mabirizi petitioned the East African Court of Justice, challenging the presiding magistrate's order of allowing the DPP's office to take over this matter.
I'm saying those proceedings were illegal. You can never have criminal proceedings where the accused is not present. And actually where the accused has not pleaded guilty, because the Magistrate Courts Act makes it clear that if he's not present in a misdemeanor, he must try to go and plead guilty. But the magistrate proceeded without them. I told him don't proceed, he proceeded. So I want them to be nullified. I want us to start afresh, because the entire process was null and void. The summons must be restated, and then everything must happen when Kyagulanyi is in court. I want to see what the DPP does as he claimed that he took over. I want to see whether it does not become another Buganda Road or another Wakiso Court. So when I see that it's important for them to be halted, I will apply to court for them to be halted. But right now, no. There's also another point about the NGOs. 54 NGOs were closed, you remember, in August. And I tried to ask for information relating to the closure. They failed. Now I'm challenging the decision. That decision is challenged together with the cabinet memo. There's a cabinet minute, which minute ordered RDCs and NGO Bureau to to get involved. Actually, the minute was to get involved in the management of NGOs. So that is illegal and unconstitutional since NGOs are supposed to be independent. And actually, under the NGO Act, an NGO can only be closed when it fails to comply with its own constitution. Now, there is no proof that actually these NGOs fail to comply with their own constitution.
Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
That is lawyer Malema Bidizi. Speaker of Parliament Jacob Olanya has commended different stakeholders who contribute to the improvement of the health sector in the country. However, he has encouraged them to extend services deeper in the rural areas.
Have been commended for reducing maternal mortality rates, teenage pregnancy, and changing community mindset on family planning. Statistics on health indicate that between 14 to 15 expectant mothers die, which worries healthy service providers. The Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya, encouraged non-government organizations to expand services to rural areas for underprivileged communities to benefit. He was opening a multi-billion Maristops hospital at Lugogo, Kampala, where he promised government support.
People who are out there need your services and need this intervention but don't have access, don't even know that they exist. So what delivery programs are in place to increase on the catchment and increase, I'm talking about to get the wider groups that are more vulnerable than even the people here. Because we are the people who show up here are not that vulnerable, in my assessment.
The country director Maristops Uganda, Dr. Carol Sechimpi, says for over 30 years they have trained the girl child against teenage pregnancies, communities on family planning methods, and prevention of HIV/AIDS. Maristops has partnered with over 150 privately owned clinics to increase access to safe and quality reproductive healthy services.
Services which have been delivered for the last 30 years. We are venturing into maternity. That is what is in labor and delivery services. And we're doing these at the highest quality with the newest technology. And the aim is also to continue to improve maternal outcomes. So that is what's new in terms of this hospital. This hospital is not separate from all of our other channels. Other channels are referring. So if you visit our center, you can find yourself at the hospital, you visit our SF. We are linked together, and so you can come in, or you can come in directly.
The Commissioner, Reproductive Health, Minister of Health, Dr. Jessica Nsungwa, commended Maristops Uganda for high-quality family planning methods.
So our aim as a Minister of Health, first of all, is to make sure that we can provide them with contraception when they are of age, so that in case they are tempted or in case they are in a situation where they have to go through this, they can't get pregnant. But also even when they get pregnant, we offer them adolescent-friendly services. Our biggest problem, of course, with the young people is that sometimes the system stigmatizes them, the community stigmatizes them with social norms.
Jane Ramchia, Fred Kasimante, UBC News. Brigadier General Emmanuel Rashande reports that UPDF Medic's purpose of participation in the 3rd East Africa Community Armed Forces activities is to show to the East African people that East African community forces integrate with civilians. The joint participation is a foundation for the unity, peace, stability, and strength for the defense common interests and the people of East Africa.
Co-care activities are being carried out in different regions of Kenya, including Machakos, Kajiado, and Nairobi, with an aim of enhancing cooperation in civil military affairs between East African Community Defense Forces.
Around here in Kenya, support Kenya Defense Forces, and they are operating in different areas. The turn-up so far here at Kajiado is good. The numbers are overwhelming. People have really taken up the exercise very seriously, and they have turned up in large numbers.
The East African Community Armed Forces CIMIC Week is an annual routine exercise meant to enhance regional integration on defense matters by giving services to community under the East African Community Protocol on Cooperation in Defense Affairs.
The purpose of our participation is to show the East African people that the East African forces are pace setters towards the achieving the integration. First of all, when we integrate, when we are together, then we create a market, which is a common market, and interoperability of East African Community Armed Forces in handling complex social, economic, and security challenges through increased competitiveness, value addition,
providing free treatment in pediatrics, gynecology, internal medicine, general medicine, and dental.
This is the whole issue that we are here to show the people in Kenya that as a force, together we can achieve a lot. Collective security, common market, and integration for the purposes of their own gains. I thank you.
Haruna Mtesa Sira, UBC News.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185 *7# and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
UBC News, Business News Tonight. Ultimate Group of Companies has launched an application to connect vendors and tourists to the destination Uganda. It follows challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic in the tourism sector, as we see by a reporter here.
The tourism sector in Uganda is venturing into technology to reshape the main objectives of providing the market with unique local solutions that elevate and improve service delivery.
It's a platform where reliable service providers actually list their activities, and then we give them the technology or the dashboards to work with for managing their bookings, and thereafter we basically sell. We market them. So collectively marketing everyone that's doing something that is adding a significant contribution to the tourism sector industry in Uganda.
From the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the tourism sector, private and public partnerships are innovating solutions. Ultimate Group of Companies has invented an application to connect vendors to tourists.
Creation of the non-existing. Look, why are we not ziplining everywhere in the country? Why are we not cycling everywhere in the country? Now the opportunity is to showcase the opportunities and possibilities that there are from a mapping perspective. We are big on mentoring from a business perspective, and that's how we want to mentor the youth into business, but then also identifying areas or activities that they can take on. Immediately we onboard them on the application with a very, very big push and force behind marketing what they're doing.
This will require all sector players to upload their products online for reliable market.
Opportunities we vet the vendor, list them and market them. That we have the controls over a customer coming in to say, look, this did not happen, and basically we do not remit that fund. So the proposition is that the vendors are vetted, reliable, and they are guaranteed on delivering on the promise.
Tourism is among the major sectors which were affected by the pandemic and requires collaboration of different players in the economy. Abdul Nasir Lubwama for UBC.
Ministry of Local Government has signed contracts with 4 construction and rehabilitation of community access roads in 10 districts of Uganda under the Local Economic Growth Support Project. The Permanent Secretary, Ben Kamumanya, told the media at the signing ceremony that the 11.6 billion shillings project will link production with marketing centers to ease evacuation of products in the district.
The construction and rehabilitation of access roads will cover 10 districts, including Kumi, Alibtong, Gomba, and others. This project will cost 11.6 billion Ugandan shillings to cover approximately 129 kilometers of road network. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Local Government, Ben Kamumanya, appeals to contractors to consider the initiative as serving the Ugandans.
It is you, among 15 or so many bidders who wanted this job, that was selected as the best evaluated bidder, and therefore do a good job. And once you do a good job, it also marks part of another extended evaluation, because when we are looking at the due diligence of somebody who has done good work elsewhere, for you, we shall be able to see that you already did our work very good in Gunyangabo or in Kumi or in Kataku.
He has provided guidelines to follow in executing the assignment.
This road work will consist the bridge construction and repair, first-class gravel. Don't give us second-class gravel. Don't give us 75 millimeters, please. You have handled, we also know, and we have enough engineers here who know what is supposed to be done. The works will be supervised by district engineering teams with support from consultants and technical officers from the Ministry of Works and Transport.
A technical advisor in the project, Assumpta Ikriza, explains the aim of access roads in rural districts.
You're going to see typically the roads you're going to be doing, they are roads that have had road chokes, challenges, access challenges, linking the production centers to the evacuation centers to evacuate produce. And I'm sure all of you, the contractors, you went to these districts, you visited the roads, you know what you're dealing with. Some roads will have nuisance bridges to be fixed. Others will have spot maraming. We cannot go here and describe it. It's going to be contained in your contract.
The contractors promised quality work.
Currently, the bridge is not there. It is a swamp filled with water. So we're going to put a bridge and fill and connect the 2.1 section so that people can have a passage to cross from the main town of Nyangabu to the nearby trading center.
Those safety guidelines, we are going to go together with these community people, the leaders, and the community peoples.
Natongo Rebecca, Tanaba Kenneth, UBC News.
Nantongo Rebecca and Tanawa Kenneth. The Swedish government has granted Uganda 2.7 billion shillings to conduct a feasibility study with an intention of fostering the adoption of floating solar technology. The new eco-friendly technology is envisaged to boost Uganda's energy mix and provide clean energy solutions.
The feasibility study is expected to take 21 months from January next year, with a focus on pioneering the floating solar development on either of the power generation reservoirs on the River Nile.
Currently, we are going to start with the piloting at Isimba, at Naluware, and even we have talked to our colleagues at Bujagali, so we are also going to pilot it at Bujagali using their reservoir. Floating solar is actually more efficient than putting solar farms on land because of the cooling effect of water.
If successful, Uganda Electricity Generation Company expects to roll out the technology to cover areas that have sizable water bodies that are currently grappling with power outages or are not yet connected onto the power grid. The Swedish government, through the Swede Fund, is offering a grant of 2.7 billion Uganda shillings in the pilot project.
Across the world, Sweden is known for being innovative, and earlier this year we were ranked second in the world after Switzerland, according to a global innovation index. And we are very happy to share some of the world's newest innovations with Uganda as we look to find sustainable ways to reduce emissions globally to curb climate change.
The initiative is to have a mixed energy portfolio in addition to fostering the adoption of new and sustainable ways of energy generation.
You all know that the electricity generation capacity in this country is still very low. We are at almost 1,300 megawatts, but our vision 2040 is over 40,000 megawatts. So we have a long way to go.
Currently, 80% of Uganda's installed electricity capacity is from hydropower. The other energy sources are from thermal and solar photovoltaic. Charlotte Amuge and Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
The 15th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity, the biggest biodiversity conference in a decade, has opened in the Chinese city of Kunming. The first phase takes place virtually from the 11th to the 15th of October 2021. World leaders are expected to meet in person to conclude negotiations on the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, a new accord to halt and reverse the loss of the planet's plants, animal and ecosystems.
Is to better
In the world of sport, with the few days to the kickoff of the 2021-22 Star Times Premier League, Saltillo Bright Stars Football Club has got a financial boost from the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA.
Since arrival in the Uganda Premier League in 2013, Bright Stars Football Club has performed to its utmost. This has won many hearts and attracted several sponsors and partners, the latest of whom is Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA.
My dream is that there will be a Ugandan player in the J League. Okay? My dream of the dream is that both Japan and Uganda will be qualified next year in Qatar. And my dream of the dream of the dream is that both teams will go to the final.
The one-year partnership launched at Kavumba Recreational Grounds has no financial implication, but is to improve Uganda-Japan ties and facilitate player transfer to Japan.
One of the core reasons why Mr. Keisuke Honda bought this club in 2017 was to make sure that he can give the children of Uganda the right to dream. Because he himself came from a humble background back in Japan, so he hoped that the kids in Uganda here would have the same opportunities like he had.
Bright Stars have finished 5th in the league last time out and will start this year's campaign away to Mbara City this Friday, but will host its home games at Kavumba Recreational Ground.
Uganda is a very young country, and those young generations, they are enthusiastic about sports, especially football. So through this partnership with Saltillo Bright Stars, we believe that JICA can deliver a lot of messages to those young generations, and we can also give them a lot of dreams together with Saltillo Bright Stars.
It has included a cast of good players on its 2021-2022 squad, but none is better than Nelson Senkatuka, who returns from a professional stint.
Yes, thank you so much for watching. Still in sport, Eminence Football Club has emerged overall champions at the two-day 12th Koro Coatings Uganda Woodball Open Championship. Hosted at Uganda Christian University, the championship witnessed competition from several teams and more than 200 players.
Silver. After a very competitive 2 days at the 12th Koro Coatings Uganda Woodball Open Tournament at Uganda Christian University in Mukono, Eminence Woodball Club has stood tall. Through players like Joan Mukova, Joel Adupa, Jackie Naira and Joyce Nalubega, Eminence won both the men and women senior category and also claimed the overall crown. This was just the second physically attended tournament in 2021, but left Federation officials optimistic ahead of upcoming engagements.
Of course, this is the last outdoor activity of the year, and we would like to thank our hosts, Uganda Christian University, for having hosted us, and also our sponsors, Koro Coatings Uganda Limited, for their support. But at the same time, we shall have one more virtual activity, which is actually this week, on the 13th of October, where we shall have the virtual International Woodball Challenge, which is played by the top managers of the different national woodball federations all over the world. So we shall be part of it, and the president, Mr. Paul Makaiva, will be heading our team.
In the corporate category, Ndeje beat the men, while Uganda National Examination Board bettered the women. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
John Barnes, Sentamu, seals off our bulletin with that story. Thank you so much for watching. We'll look at our top stories and then wind up with the weather forecast report.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
President Yoweri Museveni has rejected UNATU's proposal to remunerate non-science teachers. Hundreds have flocked vaccination centers on the ongoing mass exercise against COVID-19. The UN Biodiversity Conference has kicked off in China's Kunming city, while Uganda is to host the All Africa Senior Badminton Tournament.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
And that is all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakoni and the whole team here. Wish you the best of the night. Catch you in our other programs. Daphne Kawasita will keep here with the weather forecast report.
Uganda, with most areas receiving showers. Some areas had sunny intervals, but most parts of Uganda had showers both in the morning and also in the afternoon. According to the report that received today, Wadalai reported the highest amount of rainfall of 43.8 millimeters, and then Masaka we had 25.8 millimeters. Buginyanya and Soroti we had 24.4 millimeters, and then Kabale we had 21.5 millimeters. Most stations reported rainfall. This is because of the rain belt being over our country. That's why we are having showers in most parts of Uganda, and tomorrow we're expecting still showers in most parts of the country, apart from some few areas like northeastern part of the country, central Uganda and southwestern part of Uganda, where we're expecting sunny intervals. Later in the afternoon we're expecting showers in most parts of the country, apart from northeastern part of Uganda, where we're expecting sunny intervals. Temperatures expected to rise to 28 degrees Celsius. That is the northern sector of Uganda, and some few areas in western Uganda like Kasese, where we're expecting 28 degrees Celsius. Other parts of Uganda like around Lake Victoria, central Uganda, we're expecting temperatures to rise to 26 degrees Celsius. And then in Kabale, we're expecting temperatures to rise to 23 degrees Celsius. Going to Doha, Beijing, we're expecting sunny conditions. Sunny intervals are expected in Washington, Nairobi, and London. In Nairobi, we're expecting temperatures to rise to 26 degrees Celsius. That's what we had in our store. I'm Daphne Kawasita Nsamba from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Thanks for tuning in to UBC. Have a blessed evening.
appreciation season is here. We recognize, celebrate, and award Uganda's top taxpayers. Be part of the online Bombaya Business Summits and stand a chance to win smartphones, gift sets, hampers, and lots more. Visit our social media pages to find out more.
We appreciate you for paying your taxes. We're proud to be Ugandan. We celebrate you. Oh, we celebrate you. Taxpayers of Uganda. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Last year, Rotarian Sempewa took the mantle, and their guest of honor was the Katikiro of Uganda, who I know when you promise to do something, you better deliver. We've seen Madame Sempewa, Rotarian, deliver throughout her year, and now she's going to hand over to Rotarian Dr. Peter Nampala. The Rotary Club of Kasangat is an amazing club that puts together so many interesting folks. Dr. Nampala is an educator, one who believes that when you teach steps of a particular problem, you will always solve it. Don't all educators think so? We are going to view as he takes the chain of leadership for the Rotary Club of Kasangati. Let us listen to some of the achievements that they've had the last year and what Dr. Nampala is going to do in the incoming year.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Julian. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors, and all friends of Rotary. I would like to call this meeting to order. The grace will be said by Rotarian Kaka.
Fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, and all our guests, let us humble for the grace. To all God Creator, all loving, all powerful, we thank you for the gift of life, for the opportunity to serve humanity. We ask for your grace, wisdom, and understanding as we serve to change lives. We pray through Christ. Amen.
For the good health of the President of the Republic of Uganda.
Our Rotarians, Rotaractors, guests, friends, shall we recite the four-way test together? Of the things. First, is it the truth? Second, is it therefore concerned? Third, will it bring goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of one enterprise, and in particular, to encourage and foster, first, the development of applicants as an opportunity for service. Second, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all its qualifications, and the dignifying of each Rotarian occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. Fourth, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace to rule, a word of administration of business, professional, united in the ideal of service. According to the program that we have, we are supposed to have welcome remarks, or any remarks from the Assistant Governor, Rotarian Harriet Obo.
Good to be here. I'm really glad that I've finally been able to make it this afternoon. And how are you all? I think you can see I'm catching my breath. Friends, today is a special day. I had to be here not because I'm Assistant Governor for this club, but I had to be here to witness the handover of Elizabeth and the board. And at the same time, I had to be here to welcome a friend who is taking over from another friend of mine. Elizabeth, it's been a pleasure working with you. I now call you friend. Paul, you are my friend even before I became AG here. And today is special because I know Elizabeth very well and I know Paul very well. We are coming from one strong leader to another strong leader. And the sky is just going to be the limit for Rotary Club of Kasangati. Our journey, my journey with you started last year in February at actually Paul's home when you held your planning retreat. That retreat was special in many ways. I recall the candid talk. I recall the need to even have a specialist in conflict resolution share and guide the club through, and that is Professor Sempeba, one of your own. That retreat has remained vivid in my mind throughout the year. The steps you took at that retreat were the best steps to start the year by cleaning the house so that we could focus and concentrate on ensuring that we achieve our set goals and that we contribute in the best way possible to the set district goals. That was February last year, before the Rotary year started, and then we began engaging along the way with the entire team, especially the leadership team. In a few minutes, I should say that it's been a great year at Rotary Club of Kasangati. When the pandemic hit, you're one of the clubs that were quick to adapt. And you went ahead to implement projects and activities that have been commendable. Not surprising that OP Elizabeth was recognized by Women in Rotary as one of the best leaders, actually best leaders in service projects, female best leader in service projects. And that was the able leadership of Elizabeth, but greatly too by the great team at Rotary Club of Kasangati, led by our own service projects chair. You know, when you're up here, you guide, you inspire, you create the environment for the people to excel, and at the end of the day, you take the glory. So, Elizabeth took the award on your behalf. And I wish to congratulate you still at the DCA, at the district level. You won the PR award. These, among others, are not mean achievements. This is an effort of dedicated leaders in this club. Hey, working with Elizabeth, has been, and I should say it again, has been a great experience. Very capable leader over there. And I was confident that every time we sat down, whether online or physically, and talked through stuff that we needed to get done here at Rotary Club of Kasangati, I was certain and I was confident that Elizabeth will lead the team to achieve that. And actually didn't only achieve that, but achieved even more. I have enjoyed working with Rotary Club of Kasangati. If they asked me to run another year, Kazio, I would run it here. And on that note, I want to assure you, I'm handing over to you a great team of leaders, a team that has actually grown more through their resilience during this period of the pandemic, a team that is very committed, a team that when they say they will deliver, they definitely actually deliver more than they say they will deliver. So with that, I want to introduce you to the team, and I'm going to request you to kindly step forward and join me here. And as you come, please come with Paul's phone. Paul, he's PE Paul here. PE Paul. I'm sorry, I keep on forgetting that title. Friends, from me to another friend of the club. He's going to become your friend. He's already your friend, but he's going to become a real friend. But I also know AGE Kaziro through my interaction with this club, Rotary Club of Kampala East, especially when he was president. He was a great leader, and when I heard that he's taking on from me at Kasangati, I was very pleased. Friends, welcome with me your Assistant Governor-elect, Rotarian Kaziro Chambade.
As AG, I pledge my support. I've already told you I'm a servanthood leader. I'm happy to make my hands dirty, and I'm happy to lead from the front.
We're now going into a very, very important session. And this session is going to be led by none other than our past AG, the current district membership chair, Rotarian Ron.
I also know Paul as a very able leader, and I think this club has made the best choice this year to have Rotarian Paul Nampala as president of the Rotary Club of Kasangati. I'm going to request all of us to stand, and we're going to ask Paul to take the oath of leadership, and please give him a microphone.
I, Paul Nampala, do solemnly pledge to protect the Constitution of Rotary International and the bylaws of the Rotary Club of Kasangati. I pledge to uphold the goals, mission, and objectives of the club. I further pledge to perform my duties as the president of the Rotary Club of Kasangati to the best of my abilities in the service of Rotary. I pledge to work in concerted effort with the club board members to implement the club's strategic plan. Finally, to impact the communities that we serve, I pledge to engage and support our club in membership growth, the Rotary Foundation, the 5 avenues of service, including club, vocational, community, international, and youth services. So help me God.
I invite Paul to come on this side, and Elizabeth on this side, Assistant Governor-elect, and Paul on this side. At this moment, President Elizabeth, we have thanked you for the service that you have taken on this year, and I'm going to request you willingly, cheerfully and not tearfully, to hand over the chain of service to me. A very big round of applause for President Elizabeth and for here for service. She has said that, I did not say that, but she said against it. To you, Paul, you have already taken the oath of allegiance, of leadership as the president of this club, and it's now my singular honor on behalf of Rotary International President Sheikh Almeta, your District Governor John, and all the members and spouses and Rotaractors in the family of the Rotary Club of Kasangati to install you as president of the Rotary Club of Kasangati in the year 2021-2022. This chain of service signifies that you are the #1 brand ambassador of the Rotary Club of Kasangati. You wear it at all informal and informal engagements of this club, during the formal meetings of this club and the formal meetings of the board. This will signify that you are actually in charge of the Rotary Club of Kasangati for the year 2021-2022. Please wear it with pride everywhere you go, because it signifies that you are dependable and reliable, and you're one of the 1.2 million leaders in the world that has accepted to take on the world service in this year. I'm going to request President Elizabeth to pass on the gong of leadership, and whenever we hear that sounded, and whenever we hear it sounded, I thought that was Ochieng Richard Bakobi. We know that you are in charge and the fellowship has been called to order. We also have the certificate which will be handed over to you, the certificate of charter of the club, which will also be passed on to you. And I know at that later time, President Elizabeth would have organized a handover report to be able to be handed over to you. Fellow Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome the 20th president of the Rotary Club of Kasangati, President Paul Nampala. At this juncture, I know COVID is arising. We may not be able to go into hugs, but President Elizabeth, I think, will wave to you that she has accepted actually without gratitude and all that. In the same way, please join me once again to welcome Assistant Governor Kaziro Chambade from the Rotary Club of Kampala East into the realms of leadership. We welcome you, my Assistant Governor, and we pledge to give you all the support that you need. Welcome our incoming leaders for 2021-2022.
The Rotary Club of Kasangati, in this year 2021-2022, we will serve to change lives with a focus on serving to grow and growing to serve. We will change lives with a focus on serving to grow and growing to serve. I like the message handed to us in the scriptures by the Apostle Paul, and I will read it. It is from Philippians chapter 2, verse 4. Each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interest of others. Now for me, I have always been inspired by this word, the ancient word that is ever true, that in Rotary, we have opportunity not only to look at the interests of ourselves, but also the interests of others. And I now look back and I see that growing up as a child, my dear parents made very deliberate efforts to inculcate the passion of service to society in me and all my siblings. And I'm very grateful to my family and my dear parents. It is largely in part because of this that I made an intentional effort to join Rotary. Because yes, I was serving society, but I was only serving as an individual. I was invited to Rotary by my brother-in-law, who is supposed to be here, but is in jam, says the jam is terrible. Engineer Ivan Mwanda. Engineer Ivan Mwanda is the past president of the Rotary Club of Kampala Central. And Ivan approached us with my wife, my dear wife, his sister, and interested us to join Rotary. And when we discussed, he said, yes, the nearest to is the Rotary Club of Kasangati. And we've never regretted having come to this gallant club. We were warmly welcomed. And by the way, AG and I think the AGE needs to know this, that the Rotary Club of Kasangati has built a niche that is invisible. We are a warm club. We are a warm club. And so that warmth made us actually stay. And Rotarian PP Mugaga mentored me. And after a couple of visits, which stretched up to 6 months, I thought it was a little long, but it was 6 months. We were both inducted, myself and my wife, at a very colorful event that was presided over by the district governor, then Emmanuel Katongoli. Rotarian Flavia, my dear wife, has since taken leave in order to give attention to family. I think you've seen here that we needed more attention. Please note that I did not coerce her. We discussed, because I know in Rotary this is an important principle, that we are very sensitive to gender issues. But we discussed and there was consensus then. And I know that at an appropriate time, she will return to the club. We both subscribe to the Apostle Paul's teaching in Ephesians 2, verse 4, handed us in the scriptures. And we have, before joining Rotary, been engaged in several acts of kindness and service to society. Except my wife and I are fully convinced that it's only through a well-articulated avenue of service which Rotary offers that you can actually impact society. You cannot do it alone as a family or as an individual. And so we think that Rotary gives us opportunity to structure through collective action and attain the otherwise individual outcomes. And we know that Rotary catalyzes what an individual would desire to achieve at a snail's speed and brings to the fore the joy of achieving through a fellowship of shared understanding. And so we are here to serve. Since joining the Rotary Club of Kasangati, I have had the opportunity to serve at many levels, as has been mentioned in the introductory remarks when A.G. Sophie was introducing me. I appreciate the camaraderie between and among members of this club. I know that this comes as second nature to this club, and it has been inbuilt to stay. And it's my prayer that as 20th president, this is something that will not go away. From unsolicited feedback from within and beyond the club, we know that we have great hospitality as a club. And for this, I very warmly congratulate the past presidents of the club for building this invisible brand, which has to a great extent served as a springboard for several accomplishments. I have to learn as the 20th president of the club to smile. Because all the way from PP Jennifer, when you approach her, she's smiling. When you go to PP Sophie, she's smiling. When you go to PP Florence, she's smiling. When you go to PAG Julie, she's smiling. When you go to opportunity president, I cannot even say the word. Just look at her now. She's smiling. And so, as the 20th president, I have to learn to smile. Our opportunity president, Elizabeth, and your board, as well as our governor, assistant governor, and charter president, I warmly congratulate you for a job very well done, despite the global challenge occasioned by the COVID-19. You know, we started at a very interesting note at a planning retreat that AGE will not have opportunity to probably be part of, because that has been solved. It was an issue of conflicts. But throughout the year, the conflicts were never apparent. And so I very warmly want to welcome you and congratulate the outgoing board, and particularly the president, for steering us so well despite the challenges that we have achieved much. We have surely received a trophy, and I did mention to the president that I thought we would receive a trophy for projects. We've done lots of projects. And then I thought we would receive a trophy for the bulletin. We've had a wonderful bulletin. Then I thought, but then I quickly realized that the trophies cannot all come to the Rotary Club of Kasangati. There too has to be fairness. And so I warmly congratulate the Directorate of PR that has done a very good job in the course of the year. And no surprise, we have to learn to smile. Even the other members that are not smiling, and there are so many PNMs, by the way. There are so many smiling members, and so there are so many PNMs. As we engage using the opportunities now that have been achieved, we now move on towards service to change lives. The theme that has been handed to us by our RI President, Sheikh Kameta, for the Rotary year 2021-2022. And as a club, AGE, we are very excited. We had a party here when we received the theme. And on the WhatsApp, everybody said this is a very exciting theme. And so we are ready to serve to change lives. Yes. Now this theme, among others, comes at a very interesting time, not just for the club, but also for the district. We are twin birthing. So we are part of District 9214 and District 9213. Kasangati as a club is in District 9213. But then this morning, as I was in a Zoom engaging in a training, one of the PEs sent me a message and said, "Congratulations, PE Paul, my international friend." Now this means that a club in Entebbe is in another district, and so they are international friends to the Rotary Club of Kasanga. So it's very exciting that the theme that has come from RI applies not only to the club, but also applies to the district, and so we are very excited. And as president, 20th president, I am convinced that this presents us opportunity to concretize our vision that is enshrined in the 2019-2020 strategic plan, to be recognized as one of the leading clubs in the district. Previously there were so many, but now there are only 83 clubs in this new district, 9213. And so Kasanga has a very opportunity to shine in among the 83 districts instead of the 160 plus clubs. So our vision should be attained, to be recognized as one of the leading clubs in the district for committed service to communities in need for effective leadership in advancing world understanding, goodwill, better friendships, and peace. We shall, in the Rotary year 2021-2022, strive to provide effective and sustainable community service in our communities. And this we shall do through a continued engagement with a view to institutionalize good practice. And I have engaged the members of the incoming board, I have engaged the club, and Opportunity President, I'm happy to report back to you that as a club we agree that a lot of good things have been achieved. And yes, we are talking of change, but we are not simply going to change for the sake of changing. We think that the body groups and the work that is being done every month through the small impactful projects should be institutionalized. And as guided by the Rotary International President Sheikh Ameta, we shall strive to do more with the focus to grow more. And as further guided by our district governor-elect, John Magezi Damila, we hope to implement service projects touching all thematic areas of Rotary, focusing on the flagship of maternal mortality and child health. As a club, we are now celebrating 20 years, and we envision the following as urgent undertakings that we must pursue. Number one, we will enhance our membership, and not just increasing, but also our membership experience, and build internal capacity to serve. That is why we are saying we are going to grow as we grow to serve. Grow and grow to serve. Because you cannot serve, if we can only serve to grow, if we ourselves, we can only serve to grow if we ourselves grow to serve. So we are going to grow as members. And every month we're going to have to learn. In the month of July, we're going to focus ourselves on resources that are plenty and are available. And as we serve, we change the lives of not only others, but we change our lives as well. Number two, the TRF giving as a club. We intend to increase and boost our TRF giving. And this will not only be done blindly, but it will be done as a focus to enhance our adopted village, Makukua. Number three, we will implement impactful projects covering all Rotary thematic areas as part of institutionalizing good practice with body group engagements. Number four, we intend and will expand our portfolio of engagement with Rotary clubs as part of enhancing youth and vocational services. And now this includes our Rotaractors. We did invite them, but AGE, allow me to also mention that there are many special guests in our midst that are youthful people that are intentionally invited to be part of this this installation. I can see Daniel Abone, who is right there and has indicated to me, and I think this is Innocent, your friend, who have indicated to me that they would like to join the club.
My club visited St. Elizabeth, the school, the home that takes care of children with cancer, cancer tumors. I felt good. First of all, I felt touched, but I felt good that the little I had, other than wasting it, maybe sometimes you can throw away clothes that you think you cannot put on. Sometimes you throw food. I realized there are these people who will appreciate the little, what I consider odd, as new. So first of all, I'm satisfied that I've been able to contribute to what our Rotarians do. And I'm also grateful that through my club, we've changed lives. When I look at young girls at our Dr. Village Makukuva, where I've built a school, young girls have been struggling to achieve basic education. But when I see that even my little penny has contributed to changing lives of young girls, I feel humbled and privileged to be part of this great organization. Some of the challenges I've seen, it is really demanding. Rotary is demanding, juggling family life, work life. In Rotary, you may along the way fail to commit towards what you've gone into, but it's about service and feeling that you've been really called to serve. You have to balance the both and see that yes, you attend Rotary, but also family and work-related matters equally.
Well, primarily a Rotarian is a volunteer. You volunteer your time and resources to help others in need. The only difference is that you pay as a Rotarian. Are you paid to be a Rotarian?
There are so many theories about Rotary. Until you join, that's when you can really get the truth to know what Rotary stands for and what it does. Before I joined Rotary, I actually thought it was Rotary. But after where I come from my home village, that is Wobulinzi, I started seeing what Rotarians of that place were doing to the community. So when this colleague of mine also shared with me what they stand for, I googled about it, I read about what other clubs are doing. I realized it's an international organization worldwide known for giving back to the less privileged. So I picked interest, because this has been my passion from way back when I was growing from the church, seeing people who are suffering. I know it's not the rich that have to give back, but you can give back and share with the little you have to those that do not have it. So I picked interest in joining Rotary after seeing what other Rotarians were doing, first of all from the society, community where I'm coming from, and also reading more about what other Rotary clubs do.
I love to serve people. I love to serve the community. I love to help those who are less privileged than I am. And I love to interact with other people. I've met many people in Rotary, friends, colleagues. And apart from me serving the less privileged, I've also got contacts and networks of other people that matter a lot in my life.
It's an organization that brings together business people to impact on their communities by their giving whatever they have from their pockets, so that they can do projects for the less endowed in our communities.
It feels good to be president, but at the same time it comes with the thoughts of how the year will run. You know, in Rotary you run a year, and it's clear that you have a time frame, and that time frame it either happens or not. And so you're looking at things happening the way they've been planned. And fortunately for me, this is 20th president of the Rotary Club of Kasangati. And so there has been a trail of good practice that has been set, and the club is actually ready to continue with community service and impactful projects that will change lives. I am very well prepared, but first I must say that I took up the presidency with a bit of fears, but because it comes in good time, you organize yourself, you look at partnerships and friendships, and I am happy to report that even as 1st July starts, we already have partners that have accepted to support us in our project. So I am prepared, and the members are very supportive, and I'm looking forward to working with the board I am not working alone, and so as president, I am ready to serve.
Okay, what are some of those few projects are you targeting to have this year?
We would like to follow the DG, the district governor's advice and strategic plan of the district. We are focusing on maternal mortality, and in maternal mortality for the Rotary Club of Kasangati, we intend to build an incinerator in the health center at Kasangati. We will also build an incinerator at the health center in Makukuba. And for the incinerator at the health center in Makukuba, we've already secured the funding. We would also build a classroom block in Makukuba, 2 classroom block in Makukuba, and for that classroom block we are looking for resources and funding, and we have partners that have already expressed interest in supporting us, but also conventionally the club members support these efforts. We are having a very ambitious year because in addition to the classroom block, in addition to the 2 incinerators, we also would like to support the girl child in the communities where we work. And our support to the girl child will be best in soft projects, which sometimes are not given emphasis. You know, we think of building, construction, desks, chairs, but the soft projects will be in form of seminars on issues that affect communities. And we hope that these seminars will be running for a month in our adopted village Makukuba. Every month we have a seminar that is mentoring and building the capacity of the young people, right from primary level to secondary level, but also with an aspect of inviting the communities. We would like also to deal with water and sanitation issues in our adopted village Makukuba. We are going to deal with issues of environment in a big way, and we would like to plant fruit trees in different villages, 9 villages in Makukuba, and every village will participate in this project of planting fruit trees. So we have many projects, and at the same time we are not going to forget the community where we live as a club, which is Kasangati. So we are going to do projects around Kasangati, but we will also maintain our focus on the village that we adopted, and the focus for this year is doing more to achieve more and transforming the lives under the theme Serve to Change Lives.
Opportunity to recognize our very own district leaders who are serving beyond our club. We have with us A.G. Sophie. We have with us P.H. Ron, who is, I almost said DMC, and then I remember it has a negative connotation. District membership chair, so most welcome. We don't take your service for granted. Also, our very own P.H. Julie, you're most welcome. We'll continue to recognize any other leaders as they come, but we also want to most specially recognize the President-elect and his family. And online would like to recognize the following members from the Rotary Club of the Source of the Nile. We also have Kampala South. We have President-elect Charles Odaga, Opportunity President Jennifer. We have Kampala Daybreak, President-elect Frederick Chitakule. Acacia Sunset, we have the President-elect David Sempala. For Source of the Nile, we have the President-elect James Kusemererwa. RC Namasuva, we have Opportunity Presidents Susan Samula. RC Janesville from in Wisconsin, USA. And then RC Kampala East, we have A.G. Kaziro. We'll continue to recognize other members as the information comes in. Thank you very much, and I wish you a lovely celebration with us this evening, and I hope you'll have a joyous, event.
Or this way? Okay. Makukuba has been a school that has been built by the Rotary Club of Kasangati for a couple of years. For every incoming president, a block is added to this school. Rotarian Elizabeth Sempebwa added a block during her year. Dr. Nampala has said he is going to add another block to this school. He has also vowed and said that he is going to add an incinerator in the primary school of Sir Apollo Kagwa. Because of COVID, there's a lot of uncertainties when it comes to project implementation. The will and zeal is very, very live, like you've seen. Rotarian Ronald Kawadwa has exchanged the chains of these two leaders. But while Elizabeth becomes a past president, she still has to hold the hand of the incoming president, now President Nampala, and must show him how to lead during this COVID. Yeah, we believe that in Rotary, leadership is one of the biggest mantles that we learn as we go on, because still as you join Rotary, you're a leader. The only difference is it is at different levels. We now look forward to seeing what Rotarian and now President Peter Nampala is going to offer in this year. I've been Rotarian Carol Chazeka Koza on the Rotary Moment Show. Do join us again next time. And if you get any moment that you can avail, do go to YouTube at Rotary Moment Show or at Rotary Moment Show on Facebook. Thank you very much for allowing me to grace your sitting room.
Мне кажется, что каждый художник, каждый фотограф и даже просто обычный человек многое бы отдал, чтобы оказаться здесь на крыше, чтобы с этого ракурса увидеть собор Василия Блаженного, Красную площадь, увидеть вообще все, что вокруг меня сейчас находится. Это настолько вызывает такую бурю эмоций, что у меня даже слов не хватает, чтобы подобрать вообще и выразить все свои чувства, которые я сейчас испытываю. Я даже не знаю, я не могу рисовать, мне кажется, руки трясутся просто от того, что меня переполняют эмоции и дух захватывает.
The cathedral's doors are always open to anyone. Maybe that's why it attracts so much attention. It surely needs no introduction, and it's one you're unlikely to forget.